A man who killed a toddler after his vehicle struck her at 50 miles per hour spent the moments before the collision sending angry texts to his partner, a court has heard. Luke Perry, 23, was in a hurry when his Ford Focus collided with Harlow Edwards, 2, and two other children on an unclassified road close to the A94 Perth to Forfar route. The High Court in Edinburgh heard on Friday that Perry had left his work at Scone Airport at 12:30 p.m. on October 13, 2016 in a bad mood. He had spent the morning calling and texting his partner Heather Eaton, who he suspected of being unfaithful to him. After leaving work to drive to confront Heather at her home, he left work and started driving dangerously. Prosecution lawyer Ian McSporran QC told the court how he was seen overtaking cars in Balbeggie, Perthshire, at a speed which broke the 30 miles per hour limit. He used his iPhone to make a FaceTime call to Heather before coming to a junction with an unclassified road known locally as the C19 Cooper Angus Road. The court heard that as he came up to the junction, 3 other cars had stopped on the road. The Citroen at the front of the queue was indicating to go right. But Perry decided to pull out from behind the 3 cars and overtake the queue. However, Perry's car then struck the Citroen as it started to make its turning maneuver. The court heard that as a consequence of striking the Citroen, Perry lost control of his car and it began to rotate in an anti-clockwise direction towards the pavement. It then struck a wall and then rebounded, still rotating, back into the road where it stopped. However, the point where it struck the wall was where the children were walking. The 2 other children were sent flying over the wall. Harlow sustained serious injuries and doctors reckon her death was inevitable and rapid. On Friday, Mr. McSporran told the court how Harlow's mother is unable to cope with the loss of her daughter. Mr. McSporran said she has difficulty sleeping. She constantly thinks about not being with Harlow when she lost her life. She cries herself to sleep in the evening. She feels robbed of a lifetime of memories and she cannot put into the words to exactly convey the grief that she is currently suffering. Mr. McSporran was speaking after Perry, of Forfar, pleaded guilty to causing death and injury by dangerous driving on October 13, 2016. The advocate depute told the court that Perry appeared worked up as he spoke on his mobile phone. Mr. McSporran added text messages were also exchanged between the couple, the vast majority sent by him. The accused was using his mobile phone for that purpose, from which it appears that he was of the view that she was clearly ignoring him and then that he suspected her of being unfaithful to him. He was clearly unhappy with her. At 14:46 he texted him coming home followed by "Cheatin', you've obviously done something stupid that you're afraid to talk to me." He continued to send and read images and text messages after driving away from his place of work. He had not been scheduled to leave work so early. It is clear from the number of calls and messages and the content of those images which can be read that he was upset and angry with his partner. The tone of his text messages then changed to pleading with her to phone him. She sent 2 messages at 15.12 in strong terms telling him to get a grip of himself. These messages were read by him at 15.17. Within 4 seconds of reading them he sent her a message stating, "I've crashed one Heather," followed 5 seconds later with, "Heather, I've been in a crash." Against the background of his being in a hurry and in angry mood whilst using a mobile phone to call, text, and engage in a FaceTime call, we now come to the fatal collision which occurred some 14 kilometers after Scone Airport. Mr. McSporran told the court that Perry was driving above the speed limit at the time of the collision. He added collision investigators calculate the minimum speed of the accused's car at the point of impact as being 50 miles per hour. In the aftermath of the crash, eyewitnesses saw Perry get out of his car and use his phone. The children who survived the collision sustained brain injuries, fractured bones. Surgeons had to place a metal plate into one child's head. The other child is reported as suffering from nightmares and anxiety. Mr. McSporran also told the court that the accused had initially denied any wrongdoing. He added he had denied to witnesses at the scene that he had been overtaking and said that it was not his fault but that they had stepped out in front of me. All eyewitnesses and the extensive police collision investigation attribute sole responsibility for this collision to the accused. Defense advocate Mark Stewart QC told the court that he'd reserve his mitigation until Perry's sentencing hearing, which will take place at the High Court in Glasgow next month. He said his client had been previously diagnosed with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder and depression. He added he accepts his responsibility for his role in this offence. Mr. Pirrie also understands the likely outcome of his actions and is instructed to make no motion for bail. Judge Lord Eric adjourned sentence in order for the court to obtain reports. Pirrie will be sentenced at the High Court in Glasgow on October 4, 2017.